All right, we are back. Welcome to this week at the Dirty Pocket Podcast. I am joined by my partner in crime, the scout, Daniel Kelly, who apparently, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, is deeply engaged in gameplay. What are we doing here?
I'm calling a play. You know, I got to keep this in front of my face. I mean, you know how it goes. You can't read my lips.
Is this your best Sean McVay? You're gonna.
It is absolutely. But yeah, hold on. Let's go. 989 zip zoom on 3-on-3. Ready? Go.
Excellent. Well, you know he's going to change it in Stafford's headset anyway. God, I tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Right.
I'll put my play calling card down. But with these headsets on, I mean, this reminds me of like Joe Gibbs growing up. You got the headsets going. I just had to put that play calling, that sheet right in front of my face there to start the show.
That was beautiful, man. I thought I was watching McVay on Sunday. So well done. Well, welcome into this week.
Thank you.
The pocket is indeed dirty, and we are going to navigate it here, taking a look back at week 3 and do a little bit of a preview on week 4. Every week I keep thinking, wow, this week is chock full of great matchups, and then the next week almost trumps it. And I'll tell you, man, looking back at this last week, we got a couple of highlights on what I think are the biggest stories that I wanted to toss around and talk about a little bit. I'm going to start with what I thought was really the game of the week. And yeah, go ahead. I know I'm going to hear it. The Los Angeles Rams, currently ranked number 1 by most people, against the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. What a game. What a game.
Absolutely. How shocking that you start with that game. I mean, look at your hat. Look at the jersey on the wall. That's shocking. And I know you say it's because of the Buccaneers, but it seems to be a theme. We're talking about the Rams every week, though.
Well, hey, when you're you're the power team in the league. I mean, it's pretty widely considered this past week after Sunday's performance that the Rams are the number 1 team. So, man, that really bums me out. We're gonna have to talk about my guys more often than not, but hey, this was the marquee matchup, man, right? I mean, the Tampa Bay Bucs, the Super Bowl champions, Tom Brady, who many feel is the GOAT, his first arrival and game at SoFi Stadium. What did you see in this game, man? I of course, have a million observations, most of them emotional. But let's dig into what your analysis was. What did you see in this game?
I just saw the Los Angeles Rams overwhelm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It seemed like they were just too much for them. They kept coming and throwing the ball, and Stafford looked really good. Stafford threw the ball well, and it just didn't seem like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had an answer really for what the Rams were doing. The Rams looked really good. I mean, the thought kept going through my mind. You listen to that little voice in the back of your mind. We could be watching a preview of the NFC Championship game coming up here, and I know that Tampa Bay just kept battling back. In fact, they scored that last touchdown with a little bit of time left. Tom Brady definitely kept coming back for more and kept slinging it, but the Rams were just too much, and Stafford really looks good for the Rams.
Yeah, I can't disagree. And I'm, of course, very pleased about this story.
You wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to. I love my team, and I'm pretty open about it. But yeah, Stafford looked amazing. I couldn't recall a game in recent memory where I saw Tom Brady get hit that much. And I mean, he got hit a bit. I mean, Aaron Donald got him for a strip sack. Floyd got him. There's just a lot of action in that pocket. I think one of the keys to that entire game was that the Buccaneers just have no running game. I mean, I think they should have double checked this, but I think they had 17 total yards rushing. Yeah. You're not going to win a ball game doing that. And to see Fournette and all these, Ronald Jones, all of them were basically complete non-factors against the Rams defense. So it was really on Brady and that receiving core. And granted, they didn't have Antonio Brown. He was on COVID protocol. But the Rams locked him down, man. I mean, that was a real showing at their place in what I thought was one of the bigger matchups already this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought, too, I think this is worth saying, too, Stacy. I think Deshaun Jackson, I mean, this is a guy that has about 9 lives. All of a sudden he surfaces again for you guys, after years in Philadelphia, of course, and in Washington. I really felt that he played very well. He looked explosive for the Rams. And it just seemed like I said, they just overpowered the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champions, which I think bodes very well down the stretch. And I was really struck just by how comfortable, Stafford looked in that system, on that team. It's his team, and he looks like he's found a home, and he looks, just every bit as good as he did in Detroit, only now he has a team surrounding him.
Yeah, it's a valid point. I think McVay has just given him the keys to the car and said, drive this baby. I haven't seen the Rams go that deep on so many different possessions in a long, long time. So Stafford's a special ball player. It's not taken away from anybody else, folks, but he's really special ball player. The Rams came to play. Neither team was at full strength. We were missing Darrell Henderson. We were missing Cam Akers for the season. They were missing Antonio Brown. Their running game was non-existent. But, man, what a matchup. I've never seen McVay that fired up during a game. And Brady kind of came away going, yeah, that was a tough spot to play. That was a tough spot to play. So I really predict we'll see these teams button heads again down the road. You just said it,
yeah.
NFC Championship type style. So moving along, I want to unpack what I thought was just, and I think that the words that came out of Sunday were gut punch. The team that you cover for Sports Illustrated, that you write about, the Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens. I thought the Lions played really good football. I don't think it can be ignored that Marquise, Hollywood Brown dropped 2 very open touchdown catches that probably wouldn't have made it a close game. Nonetheless, the Lions, man, Jared Goff drives them down. They get what looks to be a game-winning field goal. And then in 3 consecutive plays, the curse of the Lions comes back. And you're undoubtedly writing about this for SI. But 4th and 19, give me a break. Give me a break. But on the next play, the clock ran out, folks. It ran out. There should have been.
Yeah, I heard the announcer counting down. He's like 2, 1, and then the ball still wasn't snapped.
Delay of game. I mean, the Lions lost.
They didn't call it.
The Lions literally lost on a 4th and 19, a delay of game non-call that would have absolutely made the field goal impossible. But then the NFL's longest field goal in history. Man, what do you do if you're a Detroit Lions fan, man?
It's really tough. I mean, the Lions did keep the score real close. They kept coming back for more. As you alluded to, they at the end of the game, it looks like they had a Goff. It looked like he was kind of celebrating there with about 1:04 left. It looked like an impossible situation, just like one of those things where the clock was going to run on the Baltimore Ravens, and it just didn't. And the way that field goal, I mean, that's classic Detroit Lions folklore with the field goal bouncing off the uprights like that and off the crossbar and going through. That was a gut punch. There's no question about that. But when I look at the Detroit Lions that like you allude to, I cover for Sports Illustrated. I just I keep getting this feeling. Kind of we talked about your team with the Rams and the Buccaneers. Destined for the NFC Championship game. They have that look. I just can't get past it that the Lions always look like a day late and a dollar short with everything they're doing. It seems like they do some things well, then they don't do other things well, and it's kind of becoming the identity of the team. I mean, when you have a team that doesn't really have any wide receivers, that go-to guys, you got a team that has very poor safety play. You have a team that has, the cornerback issues that they have, where it's a lot of undrafted guys and a 5th-round guy and a Warrior playing. When you have that kind of you don't have receivers and you don't really have a defensive secondary, that's going to be really tough to compete in the National Football League. But they did keep it close. I give them credit. Dan Campbell kept them fighting. That's also become part of the identity of this team, that they keep swinging, they keep coming back. But it was really a tough game for Detroit, and it's one of those games, Stacy, and to our listeners, that's going to be a defining game for the 2021 Detroit Lions, because to see how they respond this week against Chicago, will they come back, or will that just be one of those games where they just start mailing it in? I think that's going to be answered this Sunday against Chicago.
Yeah, I want to get to that. That's a really good point. So, in continuing to unpack the Lions a little bit, what a gut punch for that organization. I felt like they had actually pulled one out, and then it's just like 3 plays in a row. Here comes I felt like I was watching the game with Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson on the couch, and we all just rolled our eyes. Like it was just so Detroit Lions. It was just unbelievable. So I'll be looking forward to how they rebound. 2 things I want to bounce off you, and I'm sure the listeners want to hear this too. First, I'm going to start with Penei Sewell. We're 3 weeks in. This kid's a left tackle. I know that you were very down on him. Are you changing your mind? Are you seeing anything different?
No, I'm not changing my mind. I just don't think he's being challenged enough. I mean, he's got the big body that can slide on the perimeter, and he can protect the pocket from that standpoint. I'm really surprised, and I'm actually very disappointed that defensive ends and linebackers. I'm disappointed that defenses are not running more stunts in games on the inside, in that inside, B gap. I'm also disappointed that defensive ends do not seem to be challenging Sewell too much hard back to the inside. They're just basically just riding outside the pocket with him, letting him basically control a lot of the blocks on the perimeter. I want to see somebody, and I think we will this weekend with Khalil Mack. I want to see a defensive end or a linebacker really challenge him hard back to the inside. Let's see that foot quickness exposed. Let's see that that ability to recover if it's there or not back to the inside. So I mean, yeah, he has held his own, but I just don't think defenses are challenging him. I'm not exactly sure why. And like I said, he shows some tendencies early on that some stunts in games could be a problem as well. So I think there's a real opportunity if you're a defensive coordinator in the National Football League right now listening to the show, which we hope they do. But if you're a defensive coordinator listening to this show, test the B gap, test it early and often, and see what Penei Sewell has for an answer instead of letting him dictate the game. Dictate to him.
Yeah. Okay. You said that. That's 2 weeks in a row you've said attack the B gap. So I'll tell you what, man, and we'll get to it towards the end of the show, but he's up against some steely veterans this Sunday in Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. It's going to be real interesting to see if those guys that are more tenured in the NFL with a little more experience, a little more raw power, really test him out. And of course, if you're Jared Goff, you're hoping that he holds steady. For God's sake!
I think Mack is going to give Sewell everything he can handle. I think Mack is going to beat Penei Sewell this week a couple, 2-3 times. In this game.
Okay. Early prediction. Okay. Second one is nothing more than a kudos, man. I want to raise my glass to you. I want to buy you a beer. A couple weeks ago, 10, 12 days ago, you called it. You told the Lions that they should cut Jamie Collins. He's stealing money.
Oh yeah.
He's been stealing money. My friend, somebody, you just said, are people listening to the show? Clearly. Today they cut Jamie Collins. Gone. They could not find a trade partner for this man. And it's pretty clear that you're not the only one that felt that way. There's people that watch film and go, okay, is this guy packing it in? So couldn't find a trade partner, cut him. This might be the first step towards your next general manager gig.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? I've been trying to get Jamie Collins cut from 2017, back when I went for the GM's job with the Cleveland Browns, when I was in personal communication with team owner Jimmy Haslam. I went back and I watched the Cleveland Browns roster that year, and I was like, I was like, Jamie Collins was awful. And I know he played for Bill Belichick, and he rose to the occasion out there. But then ever since the last 2 years I've been covering the Detroit Lions, he's been awful. I mean, he mails it in most of the time. He's out there jogging, getting pushed around. I mean, yeah, every now and again he'll turn it on. And nothing annoys me more, Stacy, than guys who have ability, but they just check out and collect their check week in and week out. And I think think it was just a disgrace what we saw against the Green Bay Packers on Monday night. There was 2 plays on the edge, which I put in my article for Draft Diamonds, the video of, and he was just jogging. I think on one play, Alan Lazard just kind of pushed him around like a rag doll on the edge. Hey, if you're a linebacker in the NFL and a wide receiver is pushing you all the way, hey, cut him. That's it. Cut him. And I think that's what Dan Campbell saw, and he didn't allow him in the building anymore. Nothing was going to infuriate Dan Campbell more than a guy who's out there. I mean, it's hard enough to play in the National Football League without playing with 10 guys on the field, and that's what Jamie Collins has been. And I think the Lions couldn't find a trade partner, because I think my article ranked on Google. It was up there, I think, in the top 4 or 5 for a day or two. And maybe some other teams said, you know what, what's it say here? Don't trade for Jamie Collins. They put on the tape and did themselves a favor. I mean, don't sign him. Don't put him in your practice squad. Don't let him in your building. He is awful for morale. This guy is a quitter. Force him into retirement. Goodbye, Jamie Collins. I've had enough. 4 years of watching you quit on your teams is enough for me. Goodbye.
Man, look at it. I mean, you're looking like Nostradamus on this one. If you're not following.
I tell you what. If they would have introduced me as a general manager of the Detroit Lions, I could have barely got my name introduced before I'd be like, my first move is cutting Jamie Collins. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I mean, he's awful. He's terrible. He stole. I think they said he got paid $20 million for 16 games in Detroit. Give me a break. Somebody called the police and get that money back, because that was awful. That is a disgrace to the National Football League. You could get guys off the street that could do better than Jamie Collins with their eyes closed.
Well, hey, I mean,
awful, terrible. Yeah. Cut him. Goodbye.
Yeah, he's no longer Lions, so somebody's listening. Yeah, I mean, Maben and Barnes came in, and they were instantly more effective. I still...
Barnes is a stud young linebacker, yeah. The kid from Purdue. I mean, this is a guy. He's a hitter. He had 4 tackles. He logged, I think, last week against Baltimore, number 55. Keep an eye on him, because he is going to be the guy in the middle of that team. He is going to be the leadership they've been desperately starving for, with Jamie Collins just playing touch tag and playing flag football in the middle of that defense for the last couple seasons.
Yeah, they look good there. I don't know how Alex Anzalone still got that job, but that's a conversation for another day. Every time I watch him, I'm like, wow. But I tell you, just having the younger guys, Maben, Barnes in there seemed to be a little more juice. I'm tipping my hat to you, man. You called it a couple of weeks ago. Get rid of this guy. He is now a street free agent. Couldn't even find a trade partner. So moving right along from that, Jamie Collins. And I would not be shocked one bit if that guy ends up back in New England. Hold your breath. It'll be real. That's such a Belichick move, to bring somebody like that back after they tested the waters.
Well, you know, all these teams out there, every year they try to tank for these top draft picks. If you want to tank, bring Jamie Collins on your team.
Oh, God. Jamie, if you're listening, man.
Jamie Collins, he's matter of fact, you could just put tanking on the back, like, you remember Ocho Cinco, how he put Ocho Cinco on the back of his jersey? Jamie Collins could just run around out there and just have something on the back of his jersey. He says, I'm tanking.
Oh, jeez, God. Good grief, man. I'm almost afraid to move on to this next subject, okay? So,
not that I have a strong opinion or strong feelings at all about Jamie Collins.
I wish you weren't such a shy wallflower, man.
I know. Well, just wait till I get the big bat in my hands at an NFL team.
Okay. So, all right, we are going to move into another, man, just a real even keel subject. These rookie quarterbacks, and I'll tell you what, we're 3 weeks deep. There's always that piece of you that says, look, we can't expect more than we should from these guys. Times have changed. Times have changed. Yeah. So I want to start with Mr. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence. We're looking at a guy 3 weeks in with a 60.3 quarterback rating. He throws an interception on 5.9% as an average of his passes, when the league average is every 2.1%. He has 9 turnovers in 3 games. This is our number 1 quarterback. I mean, remember, just,
not mine.
Well documented on Dirty Pocket.
Not mine. I put a 90% bus rate on this guy pre-draft.
I think they're in trouble. I mean, I'm not going to, Troy had a terrible rookie season. I'm not going to go off the deep end, but I'm real curious to see if Urban Meyer lasts at this point. I'm very curious to see what the reaction is to Trevor Lawrence. You and I have talked about it in past weeks about his father coming on, hey, he likes football, it's okay. These are all now starting to become concerns 3 weeks in to his career, as he is a turnover machine. He looks really, really out of his league in most cases, with the anticipation issues and whatnot. But the turnovers, man, 9 turnovers. Ooh, I mean, that is really bad stuff for the number 1 draft pick down there in Jacksonville. Oh, we're going to call a play. All right.
Here's the thing, Stacy, and I picked up us in the preseason. I think I've written probably about 10, 15 articles for Draft Diamonds. You can check it out. Just type in Daniel Kelly, Trevor Lawrence, and they'll all pop up in front of the screen for you to read. But here's the thing that really struck me about Trevor Lawrence, and has continued to strike me since the first preseason game against the Cleveland Browns, was that he lacks rhythm as a leader. This is the number 1 problem, I think, with Trevor Lawrence, is everything seems kind of out of sync. When he gets up there as a conductor, the band, the flute's playing one song, the trumpet's playing another, the trombone's playing something else, the tuba guy's just trying to find his way. Everything kind of looks out of sort. At times the guy looks great. I'll be the first to admit, at times it looks like, oh wow, okay, there he is. But then there's for lack of a more polished way of saying it, there's these brain farts that go off every single week with this guy. And all of a sudden he starts making these really questionable throws. And I want to remind people, there was a couple interceptions on Sunday, but I went back and watched the game against Arizona. There was another 3-4 passes, and this is the case every week. 3-4 of the passes are hitting defensive backs in the hands. They're dropping interceptions. This could be a heck of a lot worse than it was. He could have thrown easily 5-6 picks on Sunday against Arizona. I also saw another play, too, where I think there was some kind of fumble or something where he just kind of the forward pass and they picked it up. But it's awful. The team just lacks any kind of rhythm, any kind of continuity when he's in the game. And this is not a rookie thing. This is a problem. This is a leadership issue. Let's go back and look at this at Clemson. He led the nation with 87 screen passes, and he was great throwing the ball deep. Trevor Lawrence does not know how to work the intermediate. I've been saying this. I was saying this on Jason McIntyre's show on Fox Sports prior to the draft. He does not know how to work the intermediate portion of the field with any kind of consistency or of an NFL quarterback. He was used to Clemson, to throwing the ball when the receivers were wide open or once they had made their break. He's not accustomed to throwing timing routes in the intermediate part of the field. So if you want to work him short, he can work the short game. Also, Arizona did a nice job of taking away the run game from him. He actually tried to run more on Sunday than he had tried to run before. That wasn't happening. Nobody thought that they saw Randall Cunningham out there. But it's just not clicking. That's the best way I can say it. He's like a conductor of a band where the team is playing 4 different sheets of music at the same time. It's out of sorts, it's out of rhythm, and by the time they figure it out, they're never going to figure it out. This is going to take years to put this thing together. Whether Urban Meyer's there, they dig up Vince Lombardi, it doesn't matter. This guy is a BUST bust. And I think you hit it right on the head, Stacy, that when you made that comparison, I think that it's worth saying and worth noting again. You said Jeff George. Ever since you said Jeff George, that's all I see. I see this guy back there. Yes, he has a cannon, but like one of my articles in Draft Diamonds I wrote, he's a loose cannon. And it comes out in these throws that he makes that are just, what were you thinking throws? That was Jeff George. This is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, he's on national TV tomorrow night. I'm going to assume you think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to roll him. I see you're having a Coke. I'm having peppermint tea. We didn't even cover our beverage tonight yet, did we? But, enough said on Trevor Lawrence. We're 3 games deep. You want to know the only guy who has a worse quarterback rating than Trevor Lawrence?
I know they said that Josh Rosen, I think he exceeded Josh Rosen's worst the statistics he had in his first 3 games. But tell me,
we can do one better, and I'm talking currently. There's this guy, I think you have some opinions on him, named Zach Wilson in New York, whose quarterback rating now is at 56.3. He throws an interception on average of every 6.7% of his passes. He's taken a league-high sack percentage of every 12.5% he goes to pass, he's sacked. He's getting the tar kicked out of him. You recently talked a little bit about his offensive coordinator. Some of the national media pundits are now saying, oh, it isn't Zach Wilson's fault. It's LaFleur's fault. He hasn't learned how to call plays either. What say you on Zach Wilson after 3 weeks?
Well, I think his mom, Lisa, is selling a lot of leopard pants.
That's a weird story.
Online, yeah, it is. Absolutely no. And I hit on that as Zach and Lisa Wilson tried to go Kardashian in the National Football League. I wrote a piece on that this last week. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, Jets fans. We're not passing the buck. I'm sorry, New York media. Turn up your radio if you're listening in New York right now, because we're not going to pass the buck off on Coach LaFleur, the offensive coordinator out there. They knew exactly. They had the resume in their hand. They knew exactly what they were getting with Michael LaFleur. He was a first-time play caller, and they hired him anyways. I knew for a fact that they were trying to set up Michael LaFleur to be the human piñata, to be the fall guy, to be the patsy for Zach Wilson's failings on the field. I knew that for a fact. I wrote an article about it on August the 3rd, talking about the national media was trying to set up and insulate and build excuses around Zach Wilson. And Orlovsky came out on ESPN and said, hey, listen, something I'm paraphrasing, but something to the effect of, hey, I know a lot of really, 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 he said really 3 times, really smart coaches out there who just can't call the plays. And he didn't say that LaFleur couldn't call them, but the reference and the implication was there that he was trying to say, well, I don't really think, hey, LaFleur's going to be the guy. They were setting him up on, I put it in my article, August 3rd, you can go check it out. I put out an article today, in fact, about LaFleur with the Jets. And they were insulating him. So in the event that Zach Wilson fails, all of a sudden now you have this built-in excuse that, it's Mike LaFleur. He's the guy that's not getting it done. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's Joe Douglas, who can't scout. It's that scouting staff with the New York Jets who did not evaluate properly and gave Mr. Woody Johnson bad advice. That's what's happening. That's where the onus lies, is with Joe Douglas in the failing, in the inability to properly evaluate, because every single thing we are seeing right now on the field with Zach Wilson, I have documented word for word verbatim on my pre-draft scouting report. This is not rocket science. This is not some kind of secret society. You can go on YouTube and you can pull Zach Wilson's throws from last season on YouTube for 2 hours and 19 minutes, and you can watch. The receivers are sliding. They're jumping. The balls are erratic. It's a small college ball at that. People are jumping and skipping and hopping all over the place to try to catch his ball. He's throwing 50-50 jump balls deep on a regular occasion. He is an erratic quarterback. I put the words, he's erratic. Now, how can I see this down here in Key West, Florida, being 20 years removed from the New York Jets? And when Joe Douglas is saying they're making $3 million a year, I'm watching YouTube, and they can't see this guy as this erratic. Zach Wilson today is exactly what Zach Wilson was against his cream puff schedule at BYU. It's the same guy. You cannot take this same guy who's a soft kid at that, a soft personality, and move him into the New York Jets, which is the toughest place to play. Bill Parcells said when I was there, everybody wants the big job in New York until they get it. They brought in Zach Wilson, and they what did they expect? Michael LaFleur is a magician? No, he's an offensive coordinator. He can only work with what he has. Bill Walsh could not win with Zach Wilson. This guy is a bust. They're delaying the inevitable. He's a one-trick, inconsistent, short passing game quarterback who's a guy who he has no big play capability whatsoever on a consistent basis deep. If I'm a defensive coordinator, turn up your volume right now. Defensive coordinators, real simple. Move down 8 guys in the box, suffocate the run, play tight man on the outside, clamp down the short passing game, and you will crush Zach Wilson. You will run him out of the league. He'll be roommates with Johnny Manziel.
Oh, my God. I wish we knew how you felt about him. I mean, oh, my God. Okay, I am not there. I first and foremost, love standing by exactly what you see in film. Second, I don't think we're there yet on Zach Wilson. That offensive line is an abysmal train wreck. And I don't even know what the play calling is, and time doesn't even allow us to get into that. But stay tuned on this. It's hard to argue with you at this point because he is the lowest rated quarterback. He's lower than Trevor Lawrence, and he is getting sacked at a rapid rate. on Sundays.
Right. What's going to happen is they're going to hit the confidence right out of them.
Yeah,
That's
it's going to be David
happen.
Carr syndrome.
So, yeah, absolutely. So by the time year 2 or 3 comes around, you're going to have a guy that looks like a deer in headlights.
Yep, I think so too. Okay, in interest of time, rapid fire. I got to tell you, man, we don't have time for each of these quarterbacks. Mac Jones looks the best, but he didn't look great.
Yep.
Trey Lance,
the 3 picks last
Trey
week,
Lance isn't getting any time, and based on what we just said about the first 2, I'm not sure Shanahan might not be smart with that because Garoppolo's been under a lot of duress. But I'll tell you what, man, if you want to see something that is a mind blower from Sunday, take a good long look at Justin Fields' debut under Matt Nagy, sacked 9 times on one of the worst offensive game plans I think I have ever seen in my life as a novice. Like, what was he thinking? It was unbelievable. No rollouts, no RPOs, nothing. He was trying to turn him into Peyton Manning in his debut behind what is arguably the worst offensive line in the NFL. Putting a rookie quarterback.
That's a mouthful.
I mean, that was incredible, man, to see that. And I think we've talked about it in past weeks, and time doesn't allow now, but Nagy's in trouble. He better figure something out fast, and he's already on record as saying, I don't know who's going to play this week. Could be Andy Dalton, could be Nick Foles. It might be Justin Fields. I'll tell you what, at this point behind that offensive line, sit Justin Fields. If that's the kind of game plan you're going to do, he's going to, the same point, he's going to get killed.
Let me kind of say something, jump in here for a moment, Stacy. I don't know if Matt Nagy wants to see Justin Fields succeed. And I say that because in the preseason, there was an article I came out with that, when he threw that beautiful touchdown pass, which is the most dynamic play in the National Football League this preseason, the announcer even said, quote, I want, Matt Nagy wants Justin Fields to do well, but I'm not sure he wants him to do that well. What does that mean? And with that game plan, I mean, that was weird. And with the game plan they had, as you alluded to Sunday, it just doesn't seem like they're trying to set him up for success. I don't know what's going on there, but I will say this. When I love Justin Fields. Justin Fields, my QB1 coming out the draft this year on my board. And I will say this about Justin Fields. When I heard Justin Fields, Chicago Bears, I was like, I was just like, it was one of those things that just in my soul did not feel like a fit. And everything I've seen since that moment forward has not fit. Justin Fields is not fit. I don't know who made the decision to draft Fields there, but there's something off. There's something wrong that's eventually going to surface with the Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. I think Fields rises above it, but there's something that's just not instinctually resonating with me.
Yeah, no, I'm going to stick with that too. I think he's going to be the best quarterback in this class, him and Mac Jones.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it'll be Matt Nagy. It'll be a lot like Anthony Lynn with the Chargers. He was gone after 1 year with Justin Herbert, and they turned the reins over to Brandon Staley. I think we're going to see the same thing with Fields. Way too talented for what I saw Sunday. That was the most ridiculous offensive game plan I've ever seen in my life.
Matt Nagy's in love with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, ask some scouts around the NFL what they think of Andy Dalton. Watch what Andy Dalton did with the Dallas Cowboys last year. Andy Dalton is he's hung on for a few years, but that's if that's who you're looking towards for the future of your team. I don't know.
I want to believe that Nagy's trying to do right by the kid because that offensive line is unbelievably bad. Like, maybe he really is trying to protect him, but I'll tell you what, he didn't do him any favors this past Sunday, and that's the first time I had a few questions. Okay, rapid fire as we close our show this week. Just going to deep dive a little bit into the next week of football. We've got 2 or 3 matchups I just want to run by you quickly. Let's get your thoughts. I think the marquee matchup, everybody's talking about it, so we might as well too. Brady versus Belichick as Tom Brady returns to New England. Who has the upper hand?
Bill Belichick.
Okay, that's against the grain.
Yeah, Absolutely. Hey, listen, I look Bill Belichick in the eyes to convince him to hire me at the New York Jets. And one thing I know about Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick knows Tom Brady. He knows Tom Brady better than Tom Brady probably knows himself. Him and Josh McDaniels are going to exploit any type of weakness, any kind of chink in the armor, if you will, that Tom Brady has. And what comes right down to it, I'm taking Belichick, and I'm taking Mac Jones. If there's one player in this entire draft this past year that was built for the play underneath the lights, it's Mac Jones. And I think by the end of the night, Sunday night, we're going to see Tom Brady hand the baton to Mac Jones, and the New England Patriots will be triumphant in that game.
There'll be a lot of people that will enjoy that. But I got to tell you, man, I got to disagree, not because I don't want you to be right, but because I just don't think the Patriots have any talent, man. They look so bad against the Saints this past week. So I like the angle. I do think Belichick is a genius. I just wonder if he has enough players to execute. That team is so bereft of talent right now
that's when they're most dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that. That's the legend of New England and Bill Belichick, right? So you're picking the Pats. I am picking the Buccaneers, unfortunately. I want you to be right on that one. That's how I feel about that one.
Yeah, because you want home field advantage in the championship game.
Oh, I hadn't thought about home field advantage. What? Okay. Wow. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I want him again.
Hey, that's called an underhand softball pitch. So I just lobbed that right to
nice.
you, Stacey.
At least you didn't, call the play with your mouth blocked again. Okay, real quick. You're tapping into my bias. Okay, we can't guess what you're thinking or saying. Rams versus Cards. Who you got in this one?
I'm taking your team. I'm taking the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
In a close game, in a shootout, it could be like 38-33.
I think it's going to be some fireworks on this one. And McVay and Kingsbury are buddies. Kyler Murray, in the past, we've had his number. We've even knocked him out of the game. He does seem like a different player this year. I still think the Rams just have too much talent all over the field, particularly on defense. Will match up well. Mm-hmm. In the battle of the NFC West team, Seahawks-Niners, what do you like?
I'm taking the Seahawks in this one.
Interesting. Niners lose a close one to your boy Aaron Rodgers, whom we do not have time to talk about this week, as promised. But they lost a close one. But you're taking the Seahawks. I'm going to go with you on that. I think the Seahawks are going to pull what some might consider an upset, but I think they're just dead even. The Seahawks. I got to tell you, though, man, the comments from Pete Carroll about Russell Wilson are so preposterously stupid. Like, if you watch a Seahawk game on Sundays, without Russell Wilson, the Seahawks are literally a 4-13 team. Russell Wilson.
Nice. You added up to 17. I made the mistake. I still go with 16 games. You added up to 17.
Us old timers. Yeah, we're still getting used to that. But okay, Seahawks, Niners. Okay, here's one. Do you think the Lions stand their best chance to win a game this Sunday against the Chicago Bears?
Not at all.
Oh.
Not at all. I think I wrote up a prediction today for the Sports Illustrated Detroit Lions, and if Justin Fields plays, I think the Detroit's 2.5 points underdog. If Fields plays in this game, I can see Chicago winning by 14 to 17 points. If he doesn't play, I can see him winning by 7 to 10. But I just don't like the direction the Lions are headed with this thing. I don't know if Goff is going to respond well. I don't know if the Detroit Lions are going to respond well with that gut punch. I can tell you what, this game's going to be a defining game of the season for the Detroit Lions. But I think the Bears will pull this off. And I think if Fields does play, I think he's going to rally the team in front of the home crowd, and he's going to make the Chicago Bears his for once and for all.
I agree. I think the Bears are going to win it. I think the Lions are on a fast track to hell, to be honest with you. And I don't like that because I'm actually rooting for them. I'm watching them real closely this year.
Right.
But
you think I say things?
Yeah. I know that just came flying out of the old mouth. But I just don't like what they're doing, and I think that adversity has found them. They just don't have anything around Goff, who is just an above average, not a top 5 quarterback, and they just don't have enough around him to help him out. And I think
you need more than a tight end and a couple running backs for a throwing game.
I also think if the Bears were to go and lose to Detroit, I think Matt Nagy's seat is so flaming hot that he might not make it through the season. So I think the Bears will probably win this game. Quick pick'ems. One of the surprise teams of the year, the Raiders and the Chargers. The Raiders are undefeated, man. Who do you like there?
Chargers.
Oh, he does like the Chargers. We're agreeing too much here. I'm picking the Chargers to win that one, too. I think Derek Carr's been playing out of his mind. But, God, I hate that Raider defense. It is still so bad, and I think Justin Herbert's going to light them up. And then I hate, man, I'm gonna tap a nerve here a little bit, but your Washington football team versus the Atlanta Falcons, so disappointed in that Washington defense. They're actually allowing teams an average of 7.7 yards per play. And, I mean, we were ready to call them the 85 Bears, that front four or that front seven of that team.
Don't get me started on that.
It's a whole other
watched
show.
The 85 Bears.
Yeah, so did I. I mean,
Chase Young's not Richard Dent, so let's put it that way.
He doesn't have a sack. Chase Young does not have a sack. And
then he's coming off the field trying to say, hey, if anyone's dogging it, or whatever he said there, you come tell me. That sounds cute, but come on.
Yeah. Well,
I'll take Montez Sweat over Chase Young when I'm seeing off him any day of the week. And those two interior guys aren't getting it done either. John Allen with a big contract and Deron Payne. I've never been a fan of Deron Payne. I've thought he's kind of lazy underachiever since he's been there. And I'm just not seeing on Washington. I'm despite the affinity I have for the team, I'm taking Atlanta in that game.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm going to take the Washington football team to win, but it's going to be really ugly. And I want to spend some time next week, folks. We're going to feature the Washington football team a little bit, give Daniel a chance to talk a little bit about his team and some of the insights there. We didn't have time this week, but man, I got to tell you, they're one of my biggest disappointments.
And I love Heineke.
Yeah.
I love Heineke. Heineke's the heart and soul of that team. But he's the only one that's he dove for the pylon again, like it meant something to him, and the rest of the team is just I'm just not feeling it at all. Ron Rivera made a bigger deal about the everyone getting the COVID shot than he is about winning the games this year.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack. That organization's under a lot of duress, and we need to take some time really talk about the Washington football team because they're one of my biggest disappointments this year. The defensive piece of their team is really shocking me this year. Right. Folks, that's what we got this week. We're coming at you rapid fire here at the Dirty Pocket, trying to give you some things to think about moving into next week. We got a monster game tomorrow night with the upstart Cincinnati Bengals versus Daniel Kelly's favorite quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, I tell you what.
Oh, you're going to let me keep beating on that Trevor Lawrence drum, aren't you, Stacy? I'm gonna beat on that till we run them out of the league.
These rookie quarterbacks are just too damn interesting this year. We're going to talk about them probably every week.
Wait till you see Trey Lance. He's everything. Once he gets a chance to start, he's everything Zach Wilson is. And more.
Okay, we're going to hold you to it, man. I mean, we're going to disagree and agree and hold you to it. Folks, thanks for joining us this week. It's for myself, Stacy Bauman, and the Scout, Daniel Kelly. We appreciate you joining us here on the Dirty Pocket. Find us on Twitter. Find us on TikTok, Instagram. You can find us anywhere. We got thick skin. Let us have it, particularly the Scout. He likes to converse with some of the fans about some of their insights and opinions. So,
hey, I'm only getting my Facebook every day. I'm only getting, guys. I mean, you guys are dropping the ball. I'm only getting between about 200 and 500 comments every day. People telling me beep 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 beep. Never mind what they say. There's just all that censored. But they're telling me I'm out of my mind. So you guys need to turn up the volume. I want 50,000, 100,000. Come on, guys. Send your comments in. The articles are out there. Take your shots. Because I know that you guys have all believed in false narratives, and I'm right on the money.
All right. On that note, look out, Skip Bayless. Here he comes for the most popular guy talking football today. Folks, thanks for joining us this week on the Dirty Pocket. Look forward to hearing from you guys on social media, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely. Take care. Enjoy the football. And by the way, that is a bulletproof backdrop back there, Stacy.
You heard it here first, folks.
Hey, take care, guys. Enjoy the games. Thanks for watching.
See you next week.